This is a video review of Transformers Robots in Disguise, or as I've been entitling it for quite some time now, the real Transformers Robots in Disguise series. The Railbots, none other than Midnight Express, Rapid Run, and Railspike, and in case you don't know who they are, I'll point them out. Rapid Run, Midnight Express, Railspike, or to get more technical when it comes to the Japanese counterpart, Card Robots, we have ourselves J4, J5, and J7, which they all combine perfectly into the phenomenal and the unstoppable JRX, or as we call them in America because it just sounds a lot better and not boring, Rail Racer. So, taking a look at one train at a time, because if I took a look at all three trains, especially with their robot modes and the final combination mode, this review will be the longest I have ever done on this channel. So I'm going to have to break this up into parts, unfortunately, but you're just going to have to bear with me on that decision. So we're going to take a look at the leader of the pack, obviously. Personality in the show, Railspike is the leader. He is obviously the muscle of the team. And I gotta say, he's got one of the best modes out of the three. It's not perfect, but you know, this is over a decade old figure. So you can't really complain with the results, especially due to the fact that this is actually based on a real train. A real train. All three of them are based on actual trains that have been seen. All three trains actually do combine. I mean, what is a train without some caboose and some pulling? I mean, really. As you can see, it works. Of course, this one's a little loose, so I'm not blaming Rapid Run on this. I mean, that's just the way it is. Yeah, I can't seem to get it now. There we go. So yeah, you can have Railspike, the leader of the group, pull them all, which is very cool. Not to mention also the fact that he's got nice rolling wheels. I mean, there's like no give to these things. I mean, they just move freely on their own. There's no hindrance whatsoever. That's very nice. And no squeaking too. Also nice. He also features a little LED gimmick right here. I don't know why, but it just looks cool at night, seeing it go by like this. Pretty awesome. This is also his weapon, which you probably know by now. Simple enough, just fold this down, fold this up. There's a little handle piece right here that comes out, and there you go. You got his blaster. I don't know what it's called, so don't ask. Right here, as you can see, it makes it look like there's something going on in there. Like this thing actually features some electronics, which would have been cool, but you know what? I mean, that's too much to be expected. It's got a nice Autobot logo, fully complete. No paint wear whatsoever. Unfortunately, on this side, he doesn't have the 500 Cybertron logo, which is kind of sad, but these figures are pretty old, and this was about the time where I was still messing around with Transformer figures and throwing them all over the place, so what can you do? I mean, I could repaint it, but I'm not going to, because this is just vintage. So yeah. Anyhow, for a quick size comparisons, just get it out of the way before I forget in like a couple of reviews. Here he is next to Scourge. Why Scourge? I don't know. It's just a random figure. Deal with it. Very cool. So, transformation is simple enough, which I'm just going to go ahead and show this off in a nice clickety gimmickal way. And voila, there he is in his robot mode. I gotta say, Railspike looks pretty good. Railspike. Anyhow, Railspike, as you can see, from the front, from the back, looks pretty dang good. But from the back, unfortunately, he, you know, he's blocky. Well, I mean, what can you do? Even with the engineering, what could Hasbro really do with all this? Nothing. But to their credit, I will say it was nice of them to actually allow the skirt to flip up. That way you can get some more movement out of the legs. Speaking of which, let's go ahead and get into it. Articulation is as the following. A nice 360 to the head. Shoulders go around full 360. They also have a little bit of articulation here, but that's due to transformation. Double jointed at the elbows. No wrists or waist rotation. It's kind of sad, but it's due to transformation. Legs are on ball joints. They pivot up. They go back about not much. He's got like a 75-degree bend at the knee, which is kind of sad, but I can understand why. His leg can also do this, both of them. He's got rotation at the lower part of his knee. And due to transformation, the feet pivot up and down. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this or not, but he looks very serious. Cons about this figure, there's only one thing that I can really argue about when it comes to this figure, unfortunately. It has to be this right here, this chest piece, which is none other than, spoiler alert, the head of Rail Racer. See? It just blocks the visual of Railspike. Really. These shoulder bits don't bother me whatsoever. But this piece right here just tends to get in the way. I mean, sure, you could like probably pop this off if you wanted to, but I'm not going to try and risk breaking my figure. So, I mean, what can you do? Nothing really. His weapon can also be put in either one of his hands, but it is very tight, at least on mine. But to its credit, even though it is a decade old, he can still hold his weapon very nicely. So there's no dead give to any of his joints, which is nice. Very tight joint. I am very surprised that even to this day, he is still in top-notch condition. Minus the logo of the 500 Cybertron on this side right here. And a few windows chipped up here and there. But other than that, nothing that can't really be fixed with, like, I don't know, repro labels, whatever it's called, and just some paint. Yeah, so there he is right next to Ruination, the Walmart exclusive. Very nice. Obviously, if you want Rail Racer, you gotta have all three. I mean, there's no getting out of that. There's no way that you can have Rail Racer without having all three combiners. Just make sure that wherever you get these figures, whether they're loose or complete, make sure they do come absolutely complete. So, yeah, I mean, if you can find them for like a pretty good price, which they are actually going for cheap on eBay. I've seen them in package, complete. Never been open, for about 35 bucks per figure. So yeah, that's a really good deal when it comes to these figures, especially since they're almost 14 years old. I mean, you can't find a better deal than that. So yeah, that's it for this review of Railspike. So questions, comments, leave them down below. I'll answer them when I get a chance. And until the next review, which should be coming up maybe tomorrow or something, that's it. RedX signing out. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys with part 2.